It appears I have been tagged, and now you're it. Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here. Welcome to this quick little live stream. This kind of came right the fuck out of nowhere, apparently. It turns out I've been tagged in what's called a Kaiju YouTuber tag. And I don't know what the hell this is all about, but apparently there was one of my fans, a YouTuber, by the name of Kaiju Psycho Films, which I love that name, by the way, tagged me in one of his videos and essentially wanted me to ask a few questions. So, yeah, I've never done this before, so I'll keep that in mind. So this is going to be a first for me. Yeah, I'm going to answer these questions and give my overall thoughts and what I think of this. Hi guys, hi Boss Gamer, hi TD Camper, hi Nick Jackson. I'll get to you in a sec. I just want to give you guys a quick update before we start. I just want to let you know that the G.I. Joe Retaliation review will be out Friday, so you guys can definitely look forward to that. I'm sorry it took so long to put together. I just didn't expect it to be like as long and as ambitious as it was, it is a kick-ass review. So you guys can look forward to that. And then the following week, hopefully I can get the Kong game review out by then. But no promises, but there are a few delays, just to let you guys know. So I'm basically going to not only answer the questions that Kaiju Psycho Films asked me to answer, but I'm also going to answer the questions he was given, because I figured, you know, what the hell, I'm bored, I got nothing to do, I'm waiting for the review to render right now, and yeah, I'll just start chatting away, and we'll see what these questions are. So the first question is, my favorite Godzilla design. Now keep in mind, guys, I am a mild Godzilla fan. I'm not, like, huge hardcore. Like, I love Godzilla. Like, I love Godzilla. I grew up with that shit as a kid. But in terms of, like, being as hardcore as Kong, not necessarily. And, you know, again, I've repeated over and over that, you know, I would like to put out something Godzilla related, maybe, like, the top 10 best Godzilla, you know, films, in my opinion. But, overall, yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, I'm a mild Godzilla fan. I'm more of a Kong fan, so just bear that in mind. But my favorite Godzilla design, I think I'm gonna narrow it down to about my top 4 or 5 at least. For me, I like the original design. I love the original design, don't get me wrong. I'm actually really digging the Shin Godzilla design, because it just looks so scary. And I like my Godzilla scary. I've had arguments with a lot of people on this issue that, like, what's my favorite Godzilla era? I'm always a fan of the Heisei era because it's dark, it's serious, it takes the material, like, it doesn't fuck around with it. So with Shin Godzilla, which I have not seen yet, I just like how they're going for a more realistic, dark interpretation of Godzilla. He's created from Fukushima and all that stuff. So for me, it's like, I love the Shin Godzilla design because I just like how freaky it is. I love all the new powers Godzilla has. I think if I'm gonna pick one of the Showa era Godzilla designs, I'm gonna go with the one from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, because that's probably my personal favorite Heisei Godzilla film, like from the 70s. And I just like the simple design of that. I do like the Godzilla vs. King Kong design, but it's not. You know what? The Godzilla vs. King Kong design, it looks like Reptar. It looks like Reptar from the Rugrats, which, speaking of which, I'm still binge-watching the show, which is great. But yeah, the Godzilla vs. King Kong design looks exactly like Reptar to me. But in terms of my all-time favorite Godzilla design, I think I'm gonna go with Godzilla vs. Destroyer, because he's just basically a giant nuclear reactor that's going to kill everybody. And I think that just makes Godzilla a lot cooler. So if I had to pick my favorite Godzilla design, it would probably be 95 Godzilla. In terms of that. All right, who do we got recently? Hello, Stalking Fan 15. I love that name. That's a cool name for a YouTube channel. Yeah, the 2014 design is cool. I mean, I'm glad they got it right this time. But For me, it's just kind of okay. Although I wish his fire breath, was more beam looking rather than like cloud looking, because it looks like he like essentially was like smoking something, you know, in terms of the 2014 design. So yeah, let's get the next question out there. The next question is, what are my thoughts on the MonsterVerse so far? So far, I'm absolutely loving it. I am really excited for Godzilla 2, or Godzilla King of the Monsters, and I want to see what they do with it, and eventually Godzilla vs. Kong. But I do want to, you know what, I mean, I hear they're planning to do a Mothra movie and a Rodan movie. Can we get a Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla movie? I mean, I know it's a little outlandish, but, you know, I think if you plan it right, you can have the military build Mechagodzilla. And I think that would be really cool to see in the Legendary verse. And then the final film will probably be like Godzilla vs. Destroya. But I don't think, I'm trying to think, but, like, I mean, Destroy All Monsters would be cool, but in terms of the MonsterVerse, I'm pretty happy with it right now. I'm liking the direction it's going. Think we'll win Godzilla. You know what, Gabster, I've said this a bajillion times. I think it's just going to be a truce, because I think another monster's going to come in. They're going to have to team up. I think that's ultimately what's going to happen in that film. So I don't, because it's really honestly a battle between strength and a battle between power. Godzilla has the power, but Kong has the strength. So it's going to be interesting how they pull that off. My least favorite Godzilla kaiju. That's a question. I would have to say any fucking crap from Godzilla's Revenge, because that is a piece of shit movie. It's boring. It's dull. It's a clip show. Fuck Godzilla's Revenge. That is an awful, awful movie. But I think, you know what? I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but I'm not a fan of Hedorah, because it just looks like somebody, like, they just put a giant garbage bag over the actor and said, "There's a monster." Actually, Hedorah he doesn't look like a Godzilla enemy. He looks more like something out of Power Rangers, honestly, in terms of villainy. But I think, you know, Gabra, Minya, and Hedorah are probably my least favorite Godzilla kaiju in that universe. So for me, that's probably the ones I'd stick with as the worst. The next question is, what made you a fan of Godzilla and kaiju? Well, obviously watching Kong as a kid was a start. I'm watching a lot of monster movies. I think for me, Godzilla, I think honestly my first intro, like, I knew about him as a kid. Like, I read a lot of books, but really my first Godzilla movie, believe it or not, was probably 98, and then afterwards I watched everything else. And at the time, I didn't know that 98 was such a big piece of shit. But I think, like, ultimately, I think because I used to rent a lot of Godzilla films from the video store at Blockbuster Video, and the one I frequently rented was Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. That was my personal favorite, and King Kong vs. Godzilla. No, it was King Kong vs. Godzilla, it was Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and Godzilla 85 were the three I rented the most. And those are the ones I still have fond memories of. And I guess that kind of started it. And then afterwards, growing up with cable television, when I moved to the States, we had a sci-fi channel, and they would show a lot of the Godzilla movies, a lot of the Heisei Godzilla movies. And I watched a lot of those growing up whenever they were on. And, but yeah, it was really Kong that was my ultimate fandom in terms of giant monsters, and Kong will always be my favorite kaiju, essentially. But yeah, that's about it for that question. And question number 5: why did you become a YouTuber? That's funny, because this is a question I've been actually kind of pondering and thinking about lately. Because come November, it's going to be the 10-year anniversary of me being on YouTube. I started YouTube in November 2007, right when it was starting to pick up as a popular site. And I was in high school at the time, and I kind of just started. If you go to my original channel, you can see a lot of my old content and what I used to post for like really shitty Lego films on Lego Studios software. Obviously, I've improved since then. But I think I am going to be planning something for the 10-year anniversary, by the way. I'm just not too sure what I'm going to be doing. And we have a couple ideas in the bowl that we're thinking of. But why I become a YouTuber, essentially, I guess you could... It's different stages. One, because I wanted to get my content out there, like my films, because I've spent years making shitty movies with friends, and I just wanted to see what the public thought, and I figured YouTube would be the best bet. Honestly, I think some of my biggest inspirations came from those like Cinemassacre and Nostalgia Critic, and watching those in high school. And YouTube started to become a real education for me on filmmaking and just seeing films in general, like what a lot of people were putting out there. Brick films like Forest Fire 101, which I watched a lot of. But a lot of those were essentially where I started with my inspiration to become a YouTuber, and I haven't been the same since, honestly. I've still been doing the same stuff. I think once 2013 hit, I actually went to starting to do reviews. Actually, my first reviews were in 2009, but my full clip reviews started essentially on with the bonus channel, and that launched in 2013. And I think for me, it's like I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know how popular this channel was. I really honestly made it to avoid copyright on my original channel, and this channel has turned out to be the better one for me. Even though I love my original channel, I love all my fans and everything on that channel, it's just like there's more content to be had here than there is on that. If I could put out more films, I would, and I would put it on that channel. So in terms of YouTube, what started me, I think that's where it started. I'm just going to read a few questions I just got flooded with here. This Godzilla skin looks like a crocodile. Yeah, it does look like a crocodile. I wish they had used, Alejandro, I wish they had used the Stan Winston sculpt, honestly. That was a great design. Yeah, I know. It's a fucking cock tease, Boss Gamer, how they teased Godzilla. It's getting a Blu-ray release, Liam? I haven't heard that yet. Is it getting it here in Canada and the United States? Because I know it's in the region, like the other regions in Europe, they have a Blu-ray. But in terms of America and them getting a Blu-ray, I hope so. If that's the case, send me a link or something to where you heard that info, because I want to know if they're doing that. Yeah, practical effects in Godzilla 2, that'd be great. I think it's mostly just going to be models, because let's be honest, I think all the creatures are still going to be CG. Yeah, I'll get to you in a sec, Nick. Don't worry, I'll get to you in a sec. And will I be doing a commentary? Yes, I'm just trying to figure out when I'm going to be putting that together. So now I'm going to move on to the questions that I was asked at Kaiju Psycho Films, because I figured, I've been tagged in this thing, and he put me on it. And I checked out his channel. He's got some good content. You guys should go check him out. But before I essentially answer these questions, I'm going to tag the people that I want to be in this Kaiju YouTuber tag, because why the fuck not? So the first person I'm going to tag is Nick Jackson. If you guys want to know, Nick, I actually discovered Nick Jackson's work because he had been talking about my content, and I think I saw him through his Jaws reviews. And we've been talking a lot. He's a really cool guy. He's a huge Godzilla fan. He's one of the biggest Godzilla fans that I personally know. And any question you have, he could answer it for you. So I actually, while I'm tagging these guys, I want you to go link to their channels, and you guys can go watch their content and subscribe. Definitely support these guys, because they're incredible YouTubers. So Nick Jackson is one of them. He's probably the biggest Godzilla fan that I know of. And essentially, I have the questions in the description so you can answer them. But Nick, you're on there, so tag you're it on that. The second YouTuber I'm going to tag is WEREZILLA. If you guys don't know who WEREZILLA is, I've actually been a fan of him for a long time now, a couple of years now. I discovered him through his review of the 1976 Kong, which is it's a funny review, like that and King Kong Lives. Like it's pretty funny, even though it's like bashing the movie. And he actually has done a lot of great reviews. I'm really a fan of his content, and he does it really on a low budget. Like he shoots on his webcam like I do, but he still is able to put out good reviews and videos out there. So he reviewed Kong 76, King Kong Lives. He reviewed Godzilla's Revenge, which is one of the best reviews of Godzilla's Revenge that I've seen. He's also reviewed Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, and he's overall he's a really cool YouTuber. I wish he had more attention because I think his content is really good. So link below, guys. Go check out WEREZILLA and check out his reviews. But WEREZILLA, if you're hearing this, I'm tagging you on this, and I want you to answer these questions. The third YouTuber I'm tagging is JIMSUPREME. This is a funny story about Jim. I had met him at several Comic-Cons in Ontario. He is one of the coolest guys that I get to talk to, one of my best friends at these conventions. And I've been helping him out with his YouTube channel. He does a lot of comic reviews and a lot of geeky stuff on his channel, but he's just been recently doing a huge retrospective on all the Godzilla movies, and they're about half-hour to like an hour and a half talks about the history of Godzilla. And I think he's up to like the Heisei era now. I'm not too sure, but his videos are really good, and I've been watching those. So link to that. Go check out his work. Go subscribe to him. And the final YouTuber I'm going to obviously tag is Bradley Dunn, aka Studio 95. He's not a big Godzilla fan. Like, he's just starting. I kind of got him into it, and he's seen all the Kong films. Like, he's had to sit down with me and watch them. But yeah, I'm gonna tag you in this, Brad, because why the shit not? And you guys can answer these questions. So very quickly, before I get to the questions that Kaiju Psycho Films has asked me, these are the questions I'm gonna narrow down, and you guys have to answer them in a video, not in a comment or anything. So the questions are: the first question, what is your favorite Godzilla design? And I've already stated my favorite Godzilla design is, you know, Godzilla vs. Destroya. Who's my favorite Godzilla villain, or what is your favorite Godzilla villain? For me, it's King Ghidorah. And again, you guys can answer that question. Third question is, what is your favorite Godzilla film? My personal favorite is Godzilla vs. Destroya, but I want to hear from you. And the final question is, what is your favorite King Kong film? So you guys answer those questions in a separate video and put them on here, and just tag me or whatever on there, and then just tag whoever you want to tag in this video. It's kind of like a pass it on way sort of thing. So the next essential, we're gonna get to the questions now with Kaiju YouTuber or Kaiju Psycho Films. I keep pronouncing these names. I'm terrible at this, but I'm just gonna see what the questions are. I'm just going through his video right now, just kind of skimming through it. Okay, the first question is, what is my favorite Kong design? My favorite Kong design will always be 1976. I love that design, and it's really cool. I mean, Rick Baker did a phenomenal job in that ape suit. I think second best would probably be the original, because and thank goodness for Kong Skull Island, because they made him look exactly like he did in the original. I think that was missing a lot, because the last 40 years of Kong have been kind of just him as a gorilla and not necessarily an ape gorilla hybrid. So yeah, those are my favorite. That's my favorite Kong design. The second question is, should Kong have lightning powers in Godzilla vs. Kong? I probably would disagree on that. I know the lightning powers is a huge thing in the Kaiju universe, but for me, it's kind of ridiculous, and I don't think it would necessarily fit Godzilla vs. Kong. Because, again, like I've stated, I think the movie is going to be a battle between power and strength. Kong has the strength, Godzilla has the power, and so, well, basically how it works is that Kong may not have enough power, but he does have the strength to basically kick the shit out of Godzilla. Godzilla has a lot of firepower, but not enough strength to combat Kong. So it's gonna be a battle between them of who's gonna fight who. So in terms of Kong having basically lightning powers, it'd be cool, but I would kind of disagree on that. I wouldn't want that in this kind of scenario. And besides, I think they've kind of established that that's not gonna happen, especially with Kong Skull Island. Like, they explain he gets bigger, but he's not gonna be like, you know, super big or whatever. So the third question is the favorite Godzilla movie that most hate. So basically, this is my, like, the Godzilla movie I like, but everybody else hates. I don't mind 2014. I know people have its problems because it's Godzilla the cock blocker, because every time they show him, and then they cut away, and people get pissed off. But I enjoyed that for the first real American Godzilla movie. It did its work. It did its job perfectly. You know what? I hear a lot of people don't like this one. Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. I don't know why so many people are not a fan of that one. I think it's actually pretty decent. You got Mothra and Godzilla teaming up. They're saving Godzilla's son from Space Godzilla. And I just kind of, I know it has a lot of rushed effects and everything, but I just like, I actually really like Space Godzilla too. I think that's actually a really cool villain for Godzilla to combat, and I really hope he makes a comeback sometime down the road. But that's the one I think, like, a lot of people hate, but I personally really like that one. I enjoy Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. And I think others would probably be like, I don't know, maybe Destroy All Monsters. But I hear that one's starting to get loved again. All right, the fourth question is, if only one or more Toho monsters could be in the MonsterVerse, who would you want? Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla should definitely be in there. I think they should save him for at least the third Godzilla movie. Sorry, I just have something in my eye. They should save him for the third Godzilla movie. But yeah, definitely Mechagodzilla. I think if I'm gonna pick somebody, like, I think if I'm gonna pick enemies, Gigan, of course, for Godzilla vs. Kong, Destroya, and really that's about it for villains. But I wouldn't mind Anguirus. Anguirus, we haven't seen him for a while. Let's get him in there. But I think aside from that, I'm pretty much good with the MonsterVerse. Like, I was really hoping that Kong Skull Island would at least have Gorosaurus, but we didn't get that, which kind of sucks. So, yeah, for me, that's just the only disappointment with Kong Skull Island, is that Gorosaurus wasn't in there. But in terms of the Toho monsters, I want Mechagodzilla. I really want that in the Legendary universe, because if they can do Pacific Rim, have, you know, the guys, I hear they want to do a Godzilla versus Pacific Rim movie. Get the people who make the Jaegers to make Mechagodzilla. That would be cool. And I think ultimately that would be good. The fifth question: thoughts on the King Kong TV show that's in development? I've been getting this question a lot, mostly because it usually happens once something Kong related is announced, I get hit with a bajillion comments and emails asking me my thoughts, because I'm kind of the Kong guy on YouTube. For me, I'm looking forward to it. I will see what comes around, but given my past experience with Kong and television, it hasn't always worked out, and it's mostly in the animation realm. And as you guys will see from the series season finale of Kong Reviews Season 3, I am dreading Kong King of the Apes on Netflix, and I'm not looking forward to it, because it's just, anytime Kong's on TV, they fuck it up. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, they're saying it's going to be a live-action Kong show. I don't know if it's going to be connected to the MonsterVerse, or it's going to be its own thing. Here, it's going to have a female star in it, so it's going to be kind of like Tomb Raider. I'm all for it. I'm actually all for it, as long as they don't fuck up the lore. I want them to stay safe on this one. Like, if they're going to go to Skull Island and everything, go to Skull Island, encounter dinosaurs, encounter kind of Skull Island creatures, see King Kong, that is important, and make him scary, make him terrifying, but don't do any stupid shit like doing a fusion dance from Kong, the animated series. None of that putting robot shit on King Kong, that's stupid. And just no superpowers for Kong. Let's try to keep safe, simple. Like, I know, like, for example, that BBC Lost World television series that they did over 15 years ago or something, that was great. And do Kong like that, where it's like, it still takes the material seriously, and, you know, it doesn't go into goofy shit. So that's what I'm hoping with this TV show. I am planning to do a Let's Talk down the line on this TV show. I don't know when exactly I'm going to get around to it. But also, a plus side, I'm hearing Global Television has got some part in it, and Global Television is actually my local, main Ontario channel. So it makes me wonder if they're going to shoot anything in Canada. If that's the case, I am going to find my way to that set, and I will join whatever they're doing, if that's the case. So, in terms of the Godzilla or the Kong TV show that's in development, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I am going to still remain a little suspicious because I don't want them to go into goofy shit. That's my only concern with the show, is no goofy shit. Stay safe. Stay alert, stay safe. Only Canadians will understand that. But essentially, yeah, just keep it safe. Don't go over the top or anything like that. And yeah, that's really it for this Kaiju YouTuber tag. I'm just gonna go up ahead and answer, get a few questions here because I just got flooded with a fuckload of questions. So let me just scroll up and I'll answer some of your questions before I go to bed. Yeah, Kong had lightning powers, Charlie, in King Kong vs. Godzilla. If you didn't know. Alright, let's see. Hi, Lives Cretaceous, how are ya? How you doing? Holy shit, we got a lot of comments here. Yeah, Charlie, yeah, it's like Kong has Godzilla down, and Godzilla's like, save Mothra! And God's like, why did you say that name? See, everybody's made that joke since the announcement for that. Exactly. What do I prefer, McDonald's or Wendy's? That's tough. Wendy's is healthier, but McDonald's tastes better. What's cracking, Master Builder? I didn't know you were talking like Jazz from Transformers today. Yeah, I usually am up really late, so this is usually the only time I can do live streams. Eric Rants. I don't know what that's from. You know what? That's fine, Charlie, that you've only seen Godzilla 54 in 2014. I would recommend 85, and I would recommend Destroya. But if you want to skip everything else, that's fine. Yeah, you're not the only one, Alejandro. I wish anime girls were real too. But if you watch my show, they do end up being real on my review show. Well, at least I try to make it happen. Yeah, I'll sub back to you. I'll do it on my original channel. I don't really subscribe on the bonus channel. Only really the people that are like my channel friends that I've basically shared content on. No, they're not trying to make Kong look like Harambe. I think that joke's been done to death. And even when I did the Terror in the Midway, I knew I couldn't get away with. I've been getting away so long without doing a Harambe joke, so I finally just gave in and did one because I figured I'd get that out of the way. Beast from 20,000 Phantoms remake. Yes, that does exist, Lev Cretaceous. It's called Godzilla 1998. That's the thing, because I agree with James on that Godzilla 98 is more of a remake of Beast from 20,000 Phantoms. So if you want a remake of that, go watch Godzilla 98. Alright, see you later, Master Builder. Sorry if these questions are a little delayed. I've just been having to answer these other questions. Oh, favorite Inuyasha character. Also, Inuyasha Dinosaur 101. That is an awesome name. I think I will have to subscribe to you now. Inuyasha is probably my personal favorite anime, and probably one of my favorite television shows of all time. And, I've got plans of what I want to do with something like that. I've considered doing a kind of Linkara history of Power Rangers kind of set series, but on Inuyasha, and covering like all 8 seasons and all 4 movies. But it's just finding the time to do that. But my favorite Inuyasha character, you know what? That's one of the biggest things with the show, is that Inuyasha has some of the best written characters I've seen on a show, and you're just so, every time there's an emotional moment, you actually connect with that. There have been times I've choked up because it gets so emotional. That's how powerful the show is. Like, the people running it knew how to pull the heartstrings, and especially even in the English dub, they knew how to act, and I give credit, like major props to all the voice actors involved on that show. But my favorite character in Inuyasha, Kikyo. I know a lot of people hate her. And the thing is, I get, because like, oh, everybody's either Team Kagome or Team Kikyo or Team Inuyasha or Team Koga or Team Sesshomaru. But for me, it's like, the reason I prefer Kikyo is because you see her entire if you watch her entire backstory, you will feel it's such a tragedy, and she's such a sympathetic character, and you want to see her really kick the shit out of Naraku. You really want to see her accomplish her mission in defeating this fucker after all he's done, like the years of torment he's done to people, and she's like coming in saying, no, I've come back from the dead and I've had enough of this. You're not going to hurt any more people. And it's just, her whole backstory is just incredibly tragic and incredibly sad. If you guys go watch the 2-parter, that pretty much tells the entire backstory of Inuyasha and Kikyo in a 2-part event. You can actually start there, and then you can go on to the show, because you can still watch the first episode, but like, if you really want to get a background very quickly on the whole story, go watch that. I forget, I think the episode's called The Tragic Love Song of Destiny. It's about 40 minutes, but it tells the entire backstory of that character. Not as much, because I have plans for that. But for me, it's just, Kikyo was always my favorite character on the show. And my favorite dinosaur? The T-Rex. I fucking love the motherfucking T-Rex. I've actually been tempted, I always come up with ideas where it's like, I come up with ideas if I run out of ideas, in a way. It's kind of an idea box, so in case I'm kind of dry for content. I've kind of figured of doing like top 5 lists of my favorite dinosaur, but what I'm thinking is more like take each species of dinosaur, depending on how many versions were in movies, and trying to narrow down the top 5 best designs from each film. Like, say, T-Rex. Take the top 5 best T-Rex designs in movies. And that's something I've been tempted to do, but like, T-Rex will always be my favorite, which is why I'm still pissed off about, hang on, I'm still pissed off about JP3. So that's essentially my favorite dinosaur. Should also make an Initial D movie. I've never seen that anime. All right, you're the con guy until Con Massacre copies your idea. Ha! Yeah, until Cinema Massacre copies idea. Yeah. Know what? That's the thing, though. If you like, I know a lot of people have been messaging me about Cinema Massacre doing the Kongathon. For me, it's interesting, because like, I had planned season 3 all throughout the month of March, and I got a word on Twitter that he was doing a Kongathon. I'm like, oh crap, there goes my career. And I essentially put mine up the whole week instead of the whole month. But I got a reply from James the week after, and he said that my videos were actually better than what he put out, and I gotta commend him for that. Just like, you know, just kind of like saying he enjoys my content, which is great. And then I met him at Nickel City Comic-Con. This was actually the 3rd time I met him, and he instantly knew who I was, because he's actually a fan of the show, which I think is great. But yeah, I think essentially, like, there's no rivalry between us whatsoever. I love James. He is a really cool dude, a real inspiration for me on YouTube. And I just think he's an incredible talent. And yeah, I think we both appreciate each other's work, is how I'd put it. Have you ever learned if a Godzilla's getting an anime? Yes, Godzilla Monster Planet. I don't know what to expect from that. First of all, it's been a long time coming that we get a Godzilla anime movie. But in terms of what the movie's gonna be, I am gonna be I'm curious to see where it goes, because I think it's gonna be like Planet of the Apes, where it turns out like it's Earth the whole time, and it's just giant kaijus have taken over the planet, and that's what I would like to see. It just turns out to be in the future. Yeah, the lack of dinosaurs was disappointing. Are you going to review Jaws 5? No. I will not review Bruno Mattei's Jaws 5 because that is a Jaws clip show, and that means it's going to be shit. Because that whole movie is just essentially the first four Jaws plus the knockoff The Last Shark. Basically, all the footage from those movies, the shark footage put into one thing. And I just don't consider that a movie worth watching or reviewing, because it's just looking at stock footage. But I do want to do a Let's Talk on the possibilities of a fifth Jaws film and what I would do with it. So there's that. What's your favorite Velociraptor color design from all four Jurassic Parks? I always love the first one. The first ones are always going to be the scariest, and they still get designs are cool, but they lack the horrific kind of horrors of the raptors from the first one. And I really hope they bring up the raptors from the first one and the fifth one. Like, I want to see like blue coming across them or something like that. Like I said, Kikyo is my favorite female Inuyasha character and my favorite character as a whole. Go to Burger King. Go to Burger King. If there's one next door, just go. I'm sure they're 24 hours. Get a Whopper or something. That'd be great. Yeah. Oh fuck! You ever tried like the McWhopper, or the Mac Whopper? You essentially go to McDonald's, you buy a Big Mac, you go to Burger King, you get a Whopper, and then you put them together. It's fucking amazing. It's filling too. I never watched the Loud House TD Camper. I never watched it. See, I grew up with Nickelodeon. I mean, my favorite thing Nickelodeon ever is either SpongeBob or Rugrats, but Rugrats is my personal favorite. But I never got into the new Nickelodeon stuff. Like, I think once I moved back to Canada, I essentially just kind of stopped watching Nickelodeon. And also because we didn't have Nickelodeon, we had YTV. But I still watch reruns of my favorite shows. I haven't seen your videos, Dauber. I'll have to check them out. Have you seen Super Sentai Zyuranger? Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes. It's pretty damn good. It is a lot darker than Mighty Morphin, because if you guys don't know, Zyuranger is essentially the Japanese footage that they use for Mighty Morphin. But Zyuranger is actually pretty decent. I've only watched really the first few episodes, and then like their version of the Green with Evil series. But I like it. And it's funny because you see more footage of the Rangers. You wonder, why did they not use that shot? Like the shot of Jason or the Red Ranger just slicing through the Green Ranger. That would have been great in the Green with Eagle, the finale to that. And I would love to see somebody do a fan edit with that, what's left of that footage. Yeah, the Lost World Raptors are kind of cool. I call them the Tiger Raptors, actually. Another video on Batman Forever. You know what? That's a possibility. I have considered going back, either remastering my old Batman reviews or actually re-reviewing the Batman movies. And if you guys don't know, I actually do like Batman Forever. It was mostly because it was my first Batman movie, really, that I saw in theaters. And I had all the toys. I broke my VHS. I grew up with Batman Forever. And talking about what sucks about it, that'd be interesting. That would be interesting. Where did you get your vintage Universal merchandise? I go to Universal Studios, and I usually buy souvenirs and stuff, but a lot of it I usually just find online, or if I find them at garage sales is usually where I get a lot of that. Actually, no, there was my dad's friend had actually worked at the park when they were constructing it in the 80s, and he had all this memorabilia that only a few years ago he actually gave to me. and I've held on to that. I actually have a plaque that shows like the thank you to when Universal opened in 1990, and I love that thing. So it's just I've been starting to collect a lot of Universal memorabilia, but for me, it's cool. I love my Universal memorabilia. Yeah, Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs is actually a decent movie. I have tempted to review that. I don't know when though, but I like that movie. It's James Newton Howard does an amazing score on that. When it comes out, yeah, Dobber, I'll check it out, and then hopefully it's good. Yes, I'm in my basement, and it's a really kick-ass basement. This is the wall we used in Kong, by the way. Carnotaurus or Allosaurus? I like Carnotaurus. I think he looks more vicious. I've never really played any horror games. The closest I probably got was Halo, if you can count that as a horror game. Mostly because I'm not a fan of jump scares. I'm not a fan of like that kind of horror stuff. I like horror movies, but I don't like horror games. Honestly, I haven't watched much of that. I haven't played much of that. Oh, that'd be cool. Like do a video with James and just fight it out. Like I know that I hear Doug Walker on Channel Awesome is planning obviously a 10-year anniversary for the website. And I don't know if they're gonna plan it to be like a big thing like Suburban Nights or To Boldly Flee, or if they're gonna do something like the Brawl. But man, I would love to get into the fucking Brawl. That'd be fucking amazing. I'd probably go in with like my sword or a Nerf gun, and just start shooting people, just start like as a joke. Wow, see, that's my biggest compliment, Boss Gamer, from people is that I'm able to inspire. That really means a lot to me that I'm able to inspire, and that's why I do stuff for you guys. That's why I make videos, is just mostly to inspire and just put my point of view out there in my kind of style. What other movies of 2017? Pirates of the Caribbean 5. That's about it. I have not been able to catch up with any of the summer movies. I mean, I only just the other day started watching Captain America Civil War. I'm so behind on all the Marvel movies. I'm so behind on a lot of films. But I'm trying to catch up because Netflix is a thing now, and it's I love Netflix. Yeah, the whole USS Indianapolis. I know they did a movie on that, Charlie, and I think it had Nicolas Cage or something. I was just really disappointed that they didn't put any Jaws references in it, from what I heard. If Jurassic Park was real, shut up and take my money. I'm going there. As long as it's tightly secured. But yeah, I would definitely go there. Hi, Bleach. It's good to see you again. I'm sadly not drinking you right now. I'm drinking lemonade. Oh yeah, the fan art's terrible, TD Camper. I am aware of that. All right, I'm just gonna scroll down here. I actually have been to Universal Studios Hollywood. I went in 2010. It was right when I just started getting better technology. I got my real first good camera and laptop and everything, and going on the studio tour really brought me back to realizing what I wanted to do, which was make movies. And I had just rode the King Kong 360 attraction. I never rode the Encounter, but I loved the studio tour. It was great. I always like to sit on, I think the left, the right side, wherever Jaws is the best seat in the house. But with Universal, yeah, it's funny because I went there in 2010 and I enjoyed it a lot. And I think really going on the Kong attraction and everything and realizing there's still a fan base I wanted to actually remake Kong was going on the ride, surprisingly. So, yeah, it just spiraled from there. Are you going to? Oh, fuck yeah! I'm seeing Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Fuck yeah, that is gonna be great. I'm really looking forward to that. I did not see the new Power Rangers film, Evan. Mostly because I mean I was looking forward to it, and it's also because I didn't have the time to see it. But I was hearing a lot of the feedback that like it does follow on the character development, but the Power Rangers only show up for the last half hour, and I'm sorry, but when I go see a Power Rangers movie, I expect to see the goddamn Power Rangers throughout the entire fucking thing. And it's kind of sad when the first Power Rangers movie actually has more Power Rangers in it than the new movie. So it's funny because I was planning to review that this year and make a big event about it, but I just haven't seen it yet, so I can't judge it. I can't review it until I see it. So maybe when it's on Netflix, I'll check it out. Let's see. What Godzilla real? Godzilla was real, we'd be fucked, honestly. If there's a great video, I think it's by Alternate History, and they did a whole "What if Godzilla was real?" and I really enjoy that video, and you guys should go check that out. They did a really good kind of what do you call it? Kind of a presentation on what would happen, what would be the consequences if Godzilla showed up in reality, what would happen to the world. Yeah, Doug and James are great. Roar with Tippi Hedren. No, I have not. I did ride the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland, and I think and it's funny because a lot of people say they get stuck on it. I never got stuck on it, and I really enjoyed that ride. I thought it was a lot of fun. They need to fix up the bugs with it, though. They need to really fix that shit up if they want it to keep working. I'll check it out later, Charlie. I'll check out if you did a Lost World remake. I'll do that. I've never played Metal Gear Solid, actually. I've never played any of the Metal Gear games. They're not really my style, but I do understand the fan base for the game and what they're all about. Godzilla would beat the shit out of Cthulhu. I'm sorry, but Cthulhu, I know he's cool and all, but he just looks like a giant hentai monster. He's got the worst. Oh, Fritz Gerard has a good question. What is the worst movie I've ever seen? King of the Lost World and 100 Million BC by The Asylum. Fuck The Asylum. They make the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I was tricked twice by their marketing, and I refuse to watch anything they make now. Even Sharknado. Fuck those movies. But in terms of second worst movie I've ever seen, Hunchback of Notre Dame 2 is the second worst movie I've ever seen in my fucking life. And also, you know what? Three Musketeers, the 2011 remake. That was fucking horrendous. Oh, they did fix it up. Okay, that's good. My favorite movie, 1976 King Kong. Best movie ever made. That and the original, kind of tied. You mean John Carter? John, if you're okay, because I was gonna say John Carter. I actually thought that movie wasn't half bad. Is it extensively long? Fuck yeah, but it's pretty decent. I think she honestly did, and she did kind of make she did realize the whole misstep of what happened, and I think she also loved Jack too. She loved Jack Prescott, except it was just too late for him. Favorite director? Okay, everybody's gonna be really surprised about this, but he's not only my favorite director, but he's actually my hero. He was my hero growing up, and he still kind of is. George Lucas. As much as we hate the guy, as much as we think he also created but ruined Star Wars, he just created this world that we could all believe in. And it's just on top of that, he took a risk with the original Star Wars, and a lot of his other films were great. And I mean, George Lucas, for me, I mean, I get he's made mistakes, but I'm able to forgive him for the fandom he created, essentially my first fandom, which is Star Wars. But yeah, I love George Lucas. Second best, probably Peter Jackson, and third, Steven Spielberg. Those are the three amigos for me. You know what? I've actually considered, because it's funny enough, with Dragon Ball Evolution, good God. It's interesting because that was my first movie review, was Dragon Ball Evolution back in 2009. It's hard to believe it's been that long, but it's interesting because at the time I had given it a positive review, believe it or not, and I do regret it. Don't get me wrong, I do regret it. But the thing is, I had been hearing years of development hell about a live-action Dragon Ball Z movie, and just every day my friends would just take walks and we would imagine what they could do with it as a franchise and how big it would be, who would they cast. And I was really like, I knew a lot of people were complaining how bad it was, but I was willing to give it a chance. I always give films a chance, depending what they are. Like if it's an Asylum, I won't give them a fucking chance. They had 2 chances and they fucked up. But with Dragon Ball Evolution, all the trailers, some of it I was actually buying into the trailers. I was into it. I saw that movie twice in the theater, and I was really wanting to like it. And I liked it for what it was, but the more I watch it, it gets worse. It's the equivalent of Batman and Robin. The more I watch it, it just gets worse and worse. And I do plan to one day review that film and just give it a piece of my mind, because they're not only is it just there's stuff I want to talk about as a Dragon Ball Z fan, growing up with that show as a kid and how much it fucked it up, and like how much it just completely not only misread everything about Dragon Ball, but also how they've pretty much fucked up the possibilities of a good anime movie or live action anime movie. But that is, I mean, I've sat down with a bunch of guys to riff it and make jokes and write notes. So it's in the idea box essentially to do Dragon Ball Evolution as a nice video too. Yeah, everybody's asking me about the Han Solo dying. I saw it coming a mile away. I knew it was gonna happen because Harrison Ford wanted out. So there's nothing really to say. I've thought about I've thought about doing the Spider-Man movies at one point. Maybe it's because I've considered doing like a Marvel month or something, but I don't know. But again, idea box. It's in the idea box. Who's your favorite anime English voice actor? That's a good question. For me, it's funny because like before I had a real appreciation for people like Chris Sabat and Sean Shukmel, Meredith McCoy, who voiced 18, phenomenal voice actress. And it's interesting because like when she kind of she didn't do much for Funimation for a while, but then she did a lot of her music, and I was listening to her music. She's really good at that. And she just started to come back into Funimation with Dragon Ball Super, which I'm really thankful she came back for that. It's funny because I've talked to her a couple times on Facebook. She's really nice. And I think, but in terms of my favorite voice actors, it would have to be the cast of Sailor Moon. It's interesting because the show, when it was originally dubbed, was in my hometown of Ontario. And I didn't know about it till years later. And I actually friended a lot of them out of a whim, and I've just gotten to know them so well. It's funny because like I kind of started them getting into that whole tour that happened a few years ago where they went on all these conventions. That was kind of my fault. I'll explain. That's a story for another time. But I've gotten to know them so well. They actually consider me part of the Sailor Moon family, which is a really kind gesture because that was my childhood, and I'm not choking up. I'm just trying to catch my breath. I think that's probably the biggest compliment I got from voice actors is that I'm able to like be friends with these people and they just like really enjoy me as a person. So yeah, the Sailor Moon voice actors are probably my favorite voice actors of all time. Really nice people. Like, and not the new voice actors for the Viz dub. I'm talking the original geek dub from the 90s. If you guys ever see those voice actors, just go talk to them and tell them I sent you. Tell them I sent you. That'd be cool. Birdemic, Dragon Ball Evolution, Anima. Yeah, they're a fucking bad movie. But what's the worst movie? The worst, again, like I said, the worst movie is anything from the Asylum. Fuck those movies. I would rather watch Fan Four Stick. I would rather watch The Last Airbender. Son of the Mask, even. That has more redeeming qualities than anything from the Asylum. King Kong Fu, that's been a request for my King Kong reviews. That is definitely going to be in the works sometime down the road. Yeah, I heard Ghost in the Shell was good. No, a Vegas hooker actually has more credibility, Bleach. I'm sorry. The Asylum makes the worst piece of shit I've ever seen. You know what's funny? I've never watched Avatar: The Last Airbender or Korra, but I've heard things about it. That's really good, but it's not really on my to-do list. Dark Knight was better than Logan, and that's mostly because I've never seen Logan, and I'm not much of an X-Men fan. Yeah, but Dark Knight is honestly the definitive superhero movie because it just changed the game of how these movies are made. So yeah, Dark Knight. Okay, I got time for one more question, so make it count. Because it is like 1:15 in the morning, and I have to go to bed, and I have to check the rendering on the next review. Which again, for those who are here, G.I. Joe Retaliation, the review will be out Friday. And you guys will look forward to that. Again, sorry for the delay. It was supposed to come out last week, but there were a lot of time constraints. So that will be coming out Friday, and then hopefully by next week, the Call and Game reviews will be out. I don't want to try to do, like, I like these live streams, but I don't want to do too many of them because I do want to keep doing actual content for you guys instead of live streams. Have you seen okay, I'll answer these two questions. Favorite? Okay, I'll just answer three. Oh, holy shit! There's a lot of questions coming in. I'll answer these last three. Have you seen the foreign live-action Dragon Ball movies? I've seen bits and pieces, and I've heard they're pretty good. The Magic Begins, I think, is one of them. I've seen bits and pieces. Okay, there was that Street Fighter movie that Movie Bob covered on The Big Picture, and at the end, some of the character becomes Goku, and it's like, wow, that was actually a pretty cool Goku. Dark Knight, again, beats out Spider-Man 2, although Spider-Man 2 is pretty close. Favorite anime dubbing company? You know, it's tough, because anime really started for me with, like, really the big... Like, Sailor Moon was my childhood, but Dragon Ball Z was a real game changer. And I grew up with the Funimation dub in the States when it aired on Toonami. And, essentially, I love Funimation. They are pumping out animes left and right. But you know what? I'm a fan of Ocean. I'm a fan of Ocean Studios, their dubs for Inuyasha and Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, and Dragon Ball's okay, but I stick with the Funimation dub. But essentially, yeah, that's the ones I like the most. All right, so yeah, that's all the questions we have for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I just wanted to do this Kaiju YouTube tag because, you know, I got tagged by Kaiju Psycho Films, and I figured I'd reply to that, which I've never done. It's funny because, like, whenever I get any kind of, like, people tagging me and stuff, it's always really rewarding and really great to, like, interact with fans and everything of my show. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little tag your it thingamabob, this Kaiju YouTuber tag. As always, like, comment, subscribe. You can go to our Patreon page and, you know, support us on Patreon. You can also follow me on YouTube and Facebook and Google Plus, of course. I post a lot of photos and stuff from behind the scenes of a lot of our videos. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys later. And for now, until the G.I. Joe Retaliation video, I will see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms, signing off.